Hi, I'm Scott Hansman, and it's Azure Friday. I'm here with John Chemnitz talking about Azure Monitor. How's it going?
Good. I'm excited to be here. So Azure Monitor is our new platform service. It's built into the Azure platform to be your pipeline for metric and log data coming from any Azure resource provider. So if you've been familiar with kind of the set of different tools you had to use to collect that sort of data from different providers, you might have been familiar with a set of different APIs, a whole bunch of different SDKs, table storage for your metrics and your logs. With Azure Monitor, that all goes away, and we centralize it around a few key APIs, a few key experiences that then apply to every resource provider in Azure.
Now, when I think about monitoring on a simplistic method, like I've got WMI and ETW and event logging and perfmon, is this that for the cloud? Is it all of the things I might want to ask?
Yeah, I think that like where Azure Monitor really shines is when you look at the types of data that you can't instrument with an agent today, right? So while the Windows Azure Diagnostic Agent and the metrics and logs you're going to get out of something like that for a compute resource is going to be like a valuable experience, and it's going to be integrated here. I would say where this really shines is stuff like, how do you find out about a network security group rule counter or the events flowing through a network security group? You can't put an agent on that.
It sounds like stuff I would
right?
go digging for, yeah.
Sure. So probably the best way to show this to you is just to go right into the portal. In the portal, we have this new blade, which is called the Monitor blade. And if you go in here, we've centralized all of your monitoring data in one place. So three kind of key types of data that we deal with are the activity log, metric data, and then the diagnostic logs.
I've started to see this more than one place. I've bumped into this in my wanderings. This isn't just something I can pick from this blade and go to the centralized monitor.
Exactly.
This is showing up on all my other properties.
Exactly, and that's where all of these types of data apply across any resource type in Azure. So over time, you're going to see every blade putting in a metric blade that then automatically is auto-filled for that resource group, that resource name, and give you just a more curated view for that particular
So I've
resource.
been using Azure Monitor and not realizing it.
Yeah, a lot of people have.
Well, and I've been going there and I've been treating it as an audit log, because I will go and say, oh, I forgot I logged in here. Or,
Definitely.
oh, who deleted that VM?
Yes, and that's the power of the activity log, right? That the activity log you can think of as any subscription level events. The biggest category of data that's in here is called administrative. It's every API call that's made into Azure Resource Manager. So create a virtual machine, update a network security group, add a new user to a new role in your subscription. All of those will be logged into your activity log, and you're going to get a lot of details about who made that call, when did it occur, what did they use to authenticate. So there's a lot of power in the activity log about knowing what's going on in your subscription. We also include in here a category of events called service health events. Service health is going to be any Azure-wide outage or incident type notification that you might want to become aware of. And so we've actually added in here a new capability where we can alert off of these log events and notify you via SMS, email, or a webhook. So really powerful stuff there, but we have to save a lot of that for another session because there's a lot to dive into there.
Sure.
One of the other really important types of data coming out of your resources in Azure is obviously metrics, right? So in this case, I've got a pretty large scale application for doing loan processing for a university for students who are applying to get student loans. And if we come in here, we can see I can pick any resource type that is emitting metrics. In this case, this is a database. And then over here on the left-hand side, I'm going to see all the metrics that I can query and visualize right here in the portal. All of these metrics are available for 30 days of history, just out of box, stored by us in the platform. You don't have to worry about any table storage, anything like that. There's just a REST API, and you can query that for 30 days of history as well as visualize it in the portal.
So I have this now they have this now, and they don't even know it, and it's free for 30 days.
Exactly, yeah. And so here's an example, right? I've picked the processing event hub, and then I can pick a few metrics that are interesting to me, visualize them on a chart, and then pin it back to my dashboard. So then my Azure dashboard can be a home for all of this different data. Activity log, if you have a query off of your activity log, you can even pin that to the dashboard, and it'll give you a number of matching events for that query over time.
I do have one question, if I may. As it was loading on the left-hand side there, I recognized an icon, which was the application insights. Can you juxtapose the two? Is one infrastructure activity insights and one is application level
Exactly,
specific?
and so that's where if you're also using application insights with Azure Monitor, you include in all of these experiences not only your infrastructure level data, but now also your application level data, your telemetry, server load time, all of that sort of interesting data as well. And we'll include those in this list and let you chart them side by side with those metrics too. And again, right, 30 days of history, it's just out of box without you having to configure anything, store it anywhere. You don't need an agent. It's just living off of these resources.
Even Linux machines?
Yes, even Linux machines, right? In fact, for virtual machines, we have a new type of data called like the host level metrics, which is data that we can obtain without any agent on your virtual machine because it's coming from the Hyper-V host that's running your virtual machine. So we even give you some out-of-the-box metrics for your virtual machines now. Cool. And then finally, for all of these resource types that are emitting metrics, we also have logs that are going to be more unique to a particular resource provider. So as an example, you know, the Event Hub might have an operational log and an archive log. And the network security group is going to have a log for every security event that's analyzed.
Okay.
And so we bring this all together through a single mechanism for routing these logs wherever you need your logs to go. So as an example here, I can pick a particular resource. This is an Event Hub, and I can click turn on my diagnostic logs. If I click this on button, I get three options. The first one, you can archive logs to a storage account. So this means I can just save these for archival, for long-term audit. I wouldn't really recommend this if you're wanting to be querying these logs regularly or handling them regularly. This is more like store it long-term, come back to it at some point. You can also send these directly into Log Analytics. So if you're familiar with Operations Management Suite, they have some really great built-in experiences in the portal for log search. Every resource type that emits a diagnostic log, they also build a solution pack for, right? So I can get analytics on top of those logs as well, just by directly routing them in there. So if I check this, I just pick a workspace, and my logs start being sent in real time into that system.
So I can do any or all of these, but if I just do archive, you said I can't query them if I put them there?
You of course, they're just in a storage account in a blob format, you know, JSON blob, and they're stored in hour increments, so you can always go back and look through that. But, you know, because of the fact that they're just a long JSON file, it's not, we wouldn't recommend that that's how you go and understand your logs, right? Log Analytics is going to be a lot more powerful for that. Azure is also an open ecosystem, right? We love partners. We love the fact that a ton of different tools integrate with Azure built by our partners. And that's where the Stream to Event Hub comes in. Not only will it provide that real-time stream of your logs to any custom scenario, so you can imagine, hey, pipe it into Stream Analytics and then into Power BI or into an Azure function. Or it's also useful for, hey, pipe my logs into my security vendor, pipe my logs into my log analytic vendor that I'm using that's outside of Microsoft. And we have a really robust ecosystem of monitoring partners, Datadog, Cloud Health, Splunk, many names, Science Logic, a lot of partners who are working really closely with us and doing some great work to light up experiences on top of this monitoring data as part of our ecosystem.
Yeah, so if I already have a relationship with Splunk, I like Splunk,
Exactly.
I also like Azure, there's no reason that they can't work great together.
And they absolutely do. You know, we encourage you to try out log analytics. It's built into the portal, and you're going to get a lot of that log search, and it's got the insight of the Azure team to give you those insightful solution packs.
Yeah.
But we understand that every company has got their own requirements. Every subscription does their own thing.
Yep.
So you've got to find a balance there. And that's where kind of where this all comes together is in the Azure portal, where you can create these dashboards that bring together all of this monitoring data to give you a holistic view of what's actually happening on in your subscription. So if you take a look at this dashboard on the over here, you'll see data that's coming from Azure Monitor. This is infrastructure level telemetry. We follow that with data that's coming from the application running on that infrastructure that's been instrumented with application insights. So server response time, page view load time, an application map that's a logical view of that application, and then even all of those solution packs from Operations Management Suite are here as well. So you can see, you know, security advice, updates to your virtual machines. We have networking solutions, SQL solutions, and you can bring it all together here, and in one place, you're getting all of that different goodness right in the Azure portal.
And I know that for you this is obvious. For people who are watching, I want to make sure that they understand that this is real.
Yeah.
This is live. This isn't fake data.
No,
these
yeah,
are not
this is
pictures. You can hover over these. You can move around. This is real data in a real app that is actually doing work, and it is. These are the front ends that are backed by all of that rich data that is available in the monitor.
Yeah, exactly.
And you have this. You, the audience, the person who is watching this on your lunch hour.
Yeah, so you can go today and you can set up dashboards like this yourself. We have some great documentation that walks you through creating dashboards, how to query metrics on your own. All of this is just there for you today. Activity log data, 90 days of history is just there in the platform. Metric data, 30 days of history is there for you. And once you configure a diagnostic log, you can route it somewhere. We don't store it in the platform for you, but you have the opportunity to route it to any of those locations and start deriving your own insights and really add some power to your monitoring experience.
Cool. Very, very largely free, very generous retention. Store it in storage, then you pay for storage, send it to Event Hub, you pay for Event Hub, or send it to a partner.
Yeah, the majority of these features are free. We do have some limits on the amount of you can query before we start to kind of have a very light charge in there. But yeah, largely this is just out of box, built into the platform, free for you to use today.
Fantastic. I love learning about features in Azure that I already have that are free or cheap. We're learning all about Azure Monitor here on Azure Friday.